just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father.
That was Kanye West, furious after seeing his 12-year-old daughter Northwest online again. This time covered in fake tattoos, wearing a grill, and headed to a concert full of controversy. The internet exploded overnight. Some called it freedom. Others called it bad parenting. But one thing's for sure, something in this family dynamic just snapped. From viral fame to family tension, this isn't just another Kardashian headline. It's a story about control and image, and what happens when fame becomes a family business. Northwest is going viral again, but this time, the internet isn't cheering. Photos of the 12-year-old covered in face tattoos, wearing bright blue contacts, and flashing a metallic grill have left millions asking the same question. What is going on? Some thought it was a Halloween stunt, others assumed it was a music video shoot, but it wasn't. It was real, and it was her choice. North, the daughter of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, boarded a private jet with a group of friends dressed in the same edgy, punk-inspired style. The group was reportedly heading to a concert, surrounded by older crowds and adult themes that most parents would never let their preteens near. Yet, there she was, bold, confident, and looking every bit like a mini celebrity who knows the world is watching. The internet exploded overnight. Memes flooded X, TikTok, and Instagram. What in the Kanye West is happening? One user joked. Others weren't laughing, calling it a red flag for parenting gone too far. And as the photos kept circulating, people began wondering if this was more than just a little girl having fun. Was it rebellion? Was it branding? Or was it the early start of something much bigger and possibly dangerous? But this viral moment didn't come out of nowhere. It's part of a growing pattern, one that reveals a lot about fame, freedom, and what happens when the child of two global icons starts making her own rules. But that wasn't the whole story. When the first pictures of North hit the internet, people thought it had to be fake. A child, just 12 years old, rocking a full grill, fake tattoos across her face, and icy blue contacts. It didn't seem possible, but it was. North's transformation wasn't part of a costume or a photo shoot. It was just her, heading out with friends, flying on a private jet to a concert, living a life most adults can barely imagine. Every detail of her look screamed shock value. The faux tattoos traced across her cheeks and forehead like rebellious art, while the metallic grill caught the light every time she smiled. Even her posture, calm, unbothered, effortlessly confident, gave the impression that she knew exactly what kind of attention she was commanding. It wasn't childish play, it looked deliberate. As the images spread, fans began dissecting everything: her outfit, her expression, even the caption on the posts. Some called it creative freedom. Others said it was disturbing, and the conversation quickly shifted from fashion to parenting. Why was a 12-year-old being allowed to present herself like an adult? Was this just another day in the Kardashian household, or a sign that things had gone too far? Social media filled with divided opinions. Some fans admired Kim for letting North be herself, while others accused her of using her daughter's personality as another publicity tool. Memes flooded in, half joking, half serious, comparing North's look to her father's unpredictable energy. "This is so Kanye-coded," one tweet said, but beneath the humor, there was a growing unease. North wasn't just playing dress-up. She was setting a tone, one that looked uncomfortably mature for her age. Still, for those who followed the Kardashian West family, this moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was the latest in a long string of moments where North blurred the line between childhood and celebrity life, and it revealed a lot more about her world than people realized. But if you think this was just about a few tattoos and a grill, wait until you hear what's really going on behind the scenes. Behind every viral picture of Northwest, there's a much bigger story. One about parenting under pressure, fame, and two very different worlds colliding. On one side, there's Kim Kardashian, the reality TV icon turned business mogul who runs a billion-dollar empire and raises 4 kids largely on her own. On the other, there's Kanye West, a creative genius whose career and controversies have made him both admired and unpredictable. And somewhere in between, all that noise is North, a child trying to figure out who she is while the entire world watches. Kim has openly said that co-parenting hasn't been easy. She's admitted that she raises the kids full-time and that Kanye's contact with them has been limited. "It's probably been a couple of months since we've heard from him," she once said quietly. That confession said everything. Kim isn't just managing her kids' lives, she's managing their image too. Every outfit, every social media post, every viral clip reflects back on her, for better or worse. Kim's parenting philosophy leans toward freedom of self-expression. She wants her children to explore who they are, even when their choices make people uncomfortable. To her, it's modern parenting. Guidance through freedom, not rules. But when the internet sees a 12-year-old flying private and flashing face tattoos, that philosophy suddenly feels risky. For years, fans have speculated how Kanye really feels about all this. But now, we don't have to imagine. He just broke his silence.
I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said, I am not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so. And then when people say, oh, they're going to use this for you in court, I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not, there's no such thing as 50-50 custody in society today. That's not even, it always leans towards the mom. But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with. You understand what I'm saying?
It wasn't only about social media. It was about control, protection, and a father desperate to have a voice in decisions about his own child. He went even further, calling out the family court imbalance he believes all men face. There's no such thing as 50-50 custody in today's world. It always leans toward the mom. Those words hit hard because they expose how deep the divide between him and Kim really is. What the world saw as an internet debate over TikTok was actually a battle over parenting, power, and principle. A father fighting for authority and a mother trying to keep the peace. But with Kanye mostly out of the daily picture, Kim's approach is what shapes North's world. And that world, as glamorous as it looks, is chaotic. Kim is constantly juggling work, filming, and law studies, often traveling or appearing at events. That means North grows up surrounded by stylists, cameras, and constant online attention, a childhood that looks more like a brand campaign than a normal upbringing. That independence might sound empowering, but it comes with a cost. When you're that young and that famous, every experiment becomes a headline, every mistake becomes a meme, and every choice becomes a statement. For North, there are no quiet phases, just viral ones. And the concert she chose to attend next proved exactly that. When people saw where North West was headed that night, the controversy went from shocking to downright alarming. The private jet wasn't just taking her and her friends on a fun getaway, it was flying them to a Playboi Carti antagonist tour concert, one of the most chaotic and adult-themed shows on the current rap scene. For most 12-year-olds, a night out means the mall or a birthday party. But for North, it meant flashing lights, mosh pits, and lyrics filled with topics that would make any parent cringe. The Opium Collective, the group of artists performing that night, has a reputation for dark, wild energy. Their shows are packed with raging crowds, heavy beats, and constant controversy. And several of its members have faced serious accusations, the kind that no child should even be around. Playboi Carti, the headliner, has been hit with multiple troubling allegations over the years involving violent behavior. Another performer, Destroy Lonely, was accused by an ex-girlfriend of physical harm during a fight abroad. One of the duo artists in Carti's circle was allegedly caught messaging underage fans. It's the kind of crowd that sparks constant online debate about accountability in the music industry. And yet, that's where North was spotted, sitting comfortably among adults with her friends, like she belonged there. For many viewers, the issue wasn't just where she was, but what it represented. The daughter of two of the world's most famous people, surrounded by questionable influences, glamorizing the kind of chaos her own parents have publicly tried to escape. Fans started asking hard questions. Why would Kim allow this? Who's supervising her? And does North even realize the kind of people she's idolizing? But if you understand the Kardashian brand, it starts to make more sense. Controversy is their currency. Every shock moment, every eyebrow raise, fuels more engagement, more clicks, more visibility. Whether intentional or not, North stepping into that world creates the next generation of viral Kardashian moments. It's publicity, even if it's risky publicity. Still, for others, it wasn't about branding, it was about innocence. People couldn't shake the image of a 12-year-old surrounded by artists twice her age who rap about drugs, violence, and rebellion. It felt like watching childhood dissolve in real time, replaced by a glossy, filtered version of adulthood. And yet, when you look closer, you start to realize something even deeper. Maybe this wasn't just rebellion or poor judgment. Maybe North was chasing something else entirely: identity. Because what came next showed that this was more than just a concert trip. It was a glimpse into who North West is becoming and how early fame shapes a child's sense of self. What drives a 12-year-old to dress like a rock star, ride private jets, and stare straight into paparazzi cameras without flinching? For North West, it isn't random. It's identity building in public. From the time she could walk, North's been front row at Fashion Week, appearing on TikTok, and standing next to her mother on red carpets that most adults dream of. She's seen stylists, cameras, and social media virality her entire life. In that kind of world, self-expression isn't just play, it's performance. And when you grow up in the Kardashian West universe, performance is the family business. People forget that North's father, Kanye, built his career on pushing boundaries. Whether in music, fashion, or speech, he's always challenged the norm, and North seems to have inherited that fearless streak. Her mother, Kim, on the other hand, perfected the art of visibility. Every detail, from an outfit to a caption, is calculated for impact. North sits between both worlds, the raw creativity of her dad and the media precision of her mom. The result? A child who already understands how attention works and how to own it. When North posted her early TikTok videos, viewers noticed something unusual. She wasn't shy, she wasn't awkward, she was commanding. She would lip-sync songs, style her own looks, and move with the confidence of someone twice her age. Even when she's criticized, she leans in, almost daring people to keep watching. It's the same energy we've seen from other young stars raised inside fame's bubble, that mix of boldness and naivety that makes the internet simultaneously fascinated and uncomfortable. And for North, this may not just be self-expression, it may be ambition. She's grown up watching billion-dollar brands built from personalities. To her, every viral moment could be the start of her own empire. Maybe she's not just mimicking adults, maybe she's already studying them, testing how far she can go, how much control she can take, how strong her image can become. But that ambition cuts both ways, because when you're still figuring out who you are, fame doesn't just magnify your choices, it locks them in. Every look, every phase, every mistake becomes part of a public archive that never fades. And North's archive is already massive. Yet while she's crafting her own identity, the backlash is growing louder, and the risks of early fame are becoming impossible to ignore. Every time North steps out, she doesn't just make a statement, she ignites a debate. The latest viral moment triggered a wave of criticism that went far beyond simple concern. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. One side argued Kim was a cool mom, letting her daughter explore creativity. The other called it neglect disguised as freedom. And at the center of it all is a 12-year-old learning what it feels like to live under a microscope. The biggest fear isn't about face tattoos or grills, it's about normalization. When a preteen with millions of followers starts mimicking adult aesthetics, the line between childhood and stardom disappears. Younger fans see North as a trendsetter, not realizing how heavily her world is managed, filtered, and financed. Critics warn that it's a dangerous cycle. Kids online trying to imitate the children of celebrities who themselves are imitating adults. The feedback loop never ends. Then there's the psychological pressure. Studies show that children raised in the public eye often struggle with identity, anxiety, and constant need for approval. North isn't just a child on TikTok, she's a brand extension of two global icons. Every outfit, every post, every glance becomes an opportunity for comparison. Is she more like Kim or Kanye? Too much or not enough? That kind of scrutiny would break most adults, yet it's her daily reality. The backlash also hits Kim. Parenting experts and talk show hosts question whether freedom of expression has gone too far. Some claim Kim's empire thrives on calculated shock, using controversy to keep the Kardashian name trending. And now, Kanye's public plea has reignited the debate. His message, demanding that North stay off TikTok and condemning what he calls corporate exploitation, split the internet in half. Some viewers applauded him for trying to protect his daughter's innocence. Others accused him of being controlling and out of touch. But no matter which side you take, his words remind everyone that behind the makeup and the headlines is a family still fighting to define what safe looks like for a child raised in fame. Yet, it's not all doom and criticism. Some fans see North as a symbol of fearless creativity, a kid who refuses to shrink for approval. They point out that every generation has its rebels, and maybe North is just this generation's mirror, bold, loud, and unfiltered. Still, the question lingers. How much freedom is too much when the whole world is watching? Because at 12 years old, North isn't just living her childhood, she's performing it for millions. And that kind of spotlight doesn't fade. It follows you forever. But what happens when that spotlight gets even brighter and North starts shaping her own legacy beyond her parents' names? Every move in the Kardashian universe has layers, a mix of strategy, spontaneity, and spectacle. That's why North West's viral moment feels less like an accident and more like the beginning of a new chapter in the family's empire. Whether intentional or not, Kim's daughter has become the heir to the Kardashian legacy, and this latest controversy might just be her first solo headline in that role. The Kardashian brand was built on visibility. Every scandal, breakup, or emotional moment became part of the empire's marketing engine. What was once reality TV evolved into a billion-dollar media machine, perfectly tuned to turn curiosity into profit. And now, North is stepping directly into that system, a system designed to make attention its own currency. The problem is, she's entering it years before most people even understand how fame really works. If you look closely, North's rise mirrors her mother's in eerie ways. Kim's career took off after a media storm that no one expected. She turned public judgment into power, controversy into control. North is doing something similar, but on social media, where virality moves faster, harsher, and lasts forever. The same formula that made Kim famous is repeating itself, only this time it's happening in real time, through TikToks and paparazzi shots instead of TV episodes. Some people see this as genius marketing, a generational handoff of the Kardashian spotlight. Others see it as a warning. The family's influence has always blurred the line between authenticity and performance. When your entire identity becomes your brand, every choice you make, even as a child, carries commercial weight. North might just be living her truth, but to millions of followers, her truth is also content, and the machine keeps spinning. Kim continues to balance motherhood with empire building, letting her daughter step into the spotlight while knowing exactly what kind of attention it brings. It's a gamble she's played her whole career, and one that, for better or worse, keeps her family at the center of global pop culture. But what makes North's situation different is her age. She isn't a grown influencer choosing this life. She's a kid who was born into it, with no option to step out of the frame. Every viral moment, every headline becomes part of her digital DNA. By the time she's old enough to understand it all, her image may already be bigger than her name. And that leads to the question everyone's afraid to ask. What happens when a child becomes a brand before they even become a teenager? North West isn't just growing up. She's growing up on display. Every step, every outfit, every rebellious experiment becomes a headline before she even has the chance to define what it means for herself. What should be a normal stage of discovery has turned into a public event, dissected by strangers across millions of screens. For most kids, mistakes fade. For North, they trend. The internet doesn't forget, and fame doesn't pause, especially when it's inherited. She's learning who she is in front of an audience that feels entitled to judge, advise, or mock her every move. The tragedy of that isn't in the attention itself. It's in the loss of privacy that comes with it. Childhood is supposed to be messy, unpredictable, and full of trial and error. But for North, every trial is a headline, and every error becomes proof of bad parenting or early fame gone wrong. Kim Kardashian insists she's letting her daughter express herself, that this is how kids find confidence in who they are. And maybe that's true. Maybe North is just a confident young girl experimenting with style, trying to stand out in a world where everything about her is already defined. But that confidence comes with a price, one she didn't choose. The price of growing up in a brand so massive that even your childhood becomes a marketing moment. The truth is, North West represents something bigger than one family's drama. She's the face of an entire generation of children born into fame, raised by social media, and taught that being seen means being successful. Her story is a warning and a reflection of how celebrity culture has shifted from adults seeking the spotlight to children being born in it. And yet, there's something undeniably powerful about her. Despite the noise, the judgment, and the constant spotlight, North carries herself with a kind of boldness that feels inherited, but also authentic. She's loud, unapologetic, and already unafraid to take up space. Maybe she's not just another Kardashian headline, maybe she's the evolution of the entire family brand. Still, one question remains. When the cameras turn off, who is North West really? Because behind the grills, the tattoos, and the fame, there's still just a 12-year-old girl trying to figure out who she is, while the world decides for her.